have.
Yay! All right.
So, thank you for sharing your film with us.
Well, thank you for having us here.
From talking earlier, it was like a labour of love as well.
It really is, yeah.
So, tell us a bit about that. From sort of how it started, ignited, to where you got it now, and where you want it to go.
Okay. First off, this is a short form episodic web streaming. And I wrote it that pieces can be put together, so it can be. Right now they're about 11-minute episodes on each episode, and then they can be combined. There's drop-off points at any time, or cliffhangers that I can put in. It's based on a short film that I made called just TradeCraft, and it was this character Owen and another character who was a Russian spy, and she was a mole, and I can't give you the spoiler. So it won a couple of awards. We were in quite a few festivals, and the woman who plays my daughter, I've known her since she was 12, and so they helped invest in that, she and her husband, and she said, well, what do you want to do with it? And I said, well, I think I would love to develop it as a feature and go from there. And she said, well, what if he had a daughter? And that's what sprung it. And so I sat down and wrote it in 2018. We shot it in 2021, and then the pilot, and then we've held the pilot because of the Ukraine invasion, because it plays a really heavy role in the rest of the series, and we just didn't want to put it out there. I wrote it in 2018, so it was I was prescient, but we don't want people to think that we had taken advantage of the situation. We were writing it because the Russians had invaded Ukraine. So this is the first festival that we felt comfortable enough to present it. There's a 3-season arc. The whole first season is written, and let me introduce to you my bad guy. That's Robert Guccioli up there, and a really close friend. He did me a big favor by being in this, and I really do appreciate that. And there's a history between those two characters. So, as the series would progress.
And in terms of getting it made and produced, how was that for you? Like,
well,
have you got it together almost? Yeah.
We were lucky. Rain and Jeff, Rain's husband, they invested in it, and they put up the money to shoot it. I think we're all talking about budgets here, so I think we shot the 3 episodes for $78,000. And where there's 2 locations, New York City and Austin, Texas. And so we had to have 2 complete crews. We couldn't transport the New York crew down there. That was just way too expensive. So we got really lucky of getting really good people. We had a couple great, we took the main, we had our DP and sound guy and our first assistant cameraman. So we took that all down. We were able to get it done with that.
Amazing. I mean, I would have thought it was a lot more in terms of
we called in some favors.
Yeah.
So our director, everybody worked for under what their normal daily rate would be, which we were able to keep the budget down, so which is always helpful. Which is very helpful. Yeah.
That's cool. What else can you foresee in the future based on this? Because we've got some bets on it. Saw the invasion coming.
I mean, you guys saw it. I mean, the ultimate thing is, do you want to see what happens? Hopefully somebody sees it and goes, what happens? We'll put up the money and we'll try to make it work for you.
Okay.
It was great fun to make it. We were in the middle of COVID, so we had problems everybody else had making films during that time period. I would love to see the story go forward, because it really is. I wrote it to put normal people in extraordinary circumstances. I think that's always the story, and it's really a father-daughter story because they haven't seen each other for 25 years. So I would love to see see that, and I'll give you a spoiler, he's lying to her about everything right off the bat. There's a great saying that, you know, about espionage, that spies are, you have to be a good liar, otherwise you're dead. And so he can't open up enough to take her as she is, you know, and try to be a father to her, because he really wasn't. So I would like to see that going that way. Yeah.
Cool. Let's throw out some questions to the audience.
Yes, sir. Ben?
The awesome opening credit sequence. How did that come about? Like the James Bondian.
Oh, actually, it was a graphic that we bought, you know, that was already made. I was looking at a bunch of motion graphics, and I saw it and I said, "That's it." You know, that's the one. And because it really had, and our composer was great, because he really kind of, you'll hear a lot of guitar in there, and you know, a lot of early James Bond kind of
Yeah,
feel
exactly.
to it. So he really did a good job, you know, scoring that whole sequence. Anything else?
Anyone else?
Yeah. So congratulations for
Thank
your
you.
work. You
Thank
made
you.
me loud a lot through the projection. So I want to ask about your college, the hair, the
Oh.
other protagonist. How was the teamwork? Because
Oh.
you both worked together.
Oh yeah, no, it was great. We had a great crew, and you know, for those of you who make films, we came in, we were working 10-hour days, and we never went over 10-hour days. And as a matter of fact, I think the last 3 days, we were finished within 8 hours. That's how good the crew was in keeping everything. We had a great first AD who kept everything moving. I mean, I didn't have any scenes with him, but Rain and I, she's like my daughter, you know. So we had a natural chemistry, and that's kind of how we are. I wrote it in
Is
her
your
voice.
daughter?
What? No, she's not. But she's sort of like my daughter.
Okay.
I was, yeah.
It looks like. So
Yeah,
congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you. Good. That's exactly what she looked like. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anything else?
Russ?
No?
Thanks.
Can I ask another one?
Sure.
What's the name TradeCraft come from?
It's a term in espionage. They don't use it. Part of the story too is it's the art of being a spy.
Okay.
When like in the last scene where the woman comes down the subway stairs and then buries something, that's a dead drop. She buries it, and then she puts a mark on the that means that there's something there or somebody. Well, that's TradeCraft. That's, you know, it's handling an asset. It's putting bugs in people's houses and cars. All that stuff is TradeCraft, and that's kind of, you know, the title is, I think, should say it all on that. But the other thing I did want to point out is that it's based on a lot of incidents. When Trump and Putin had their talk in Helsinki, there was only one person in the room, and it was the American translator. It wasn't the Russian translator, but it was the American translator. So I just flipped it the other way, because he or she would know a lot of what went on in that. So it's kind of taken from real political situations, and of course any of you who know what happens in America, been happening in America, knows that, you know, there's a lot of turmoil within the political system. So that's a good question.
Okay.
Right.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Can I ask one?
Yeah, of course you can.
So, do you have to take on like a consultant for the spy type element of stuff, or do you have to kill us all after you told us how you know all the spy type stuff?
I did an awful lot of research. I've read a couple of great books, one about the KGB, the old KGB. But I did really a lot of research on my first short film that I did. So jumping into this, I was pretty familiar with the terminology and the different aspects of spycraft, especially with moles and assets and you know, how to communicate and how you get an asset to do what you want them to do. And I mean, the tip-off in this is that there's nothing wrong with him. It was just a way for him to get her to go with him. He needed her, but he knew the only way that he could get her to do that if he pretends that something's wrong, that he's getting flashbacks, he can't handle the tough situation. He's a spy. He lies. Ultimately, he's going to get what he thinks is best for the situation, whether it's his daughter or not. So, I hope that answered. Yeah.
Is it currently being streamed on any platform?
No, it'll be on.
Yeah.
It'll be on
Next
Breaking
week.
TV next
Next
week.
week.
3 episodes. No, we're just really trying to get the money to finish it, and it's not that expensive to finish it. I mean, relatively speaking, you know, it's probably under $1 million to get it done. So there's 2 more locations. They next go to New Orleans, and then they go to New York City. So it all ends in New York City.
Can I just following on from like, and then so when you do build it out, so are you aiming to get it into where do you get the eyeballs? Where what streaming
Well, I mean,
platforms?
ideally, it would be like Netflix, or
Yeah.
I don't think it's star powered driven enough for Netflix or Amazon, but I think it's certainly something Hulu, Tubi, something like that.
That's what you're aiming for.
Yeah, that could take it and wouldn't necessarily have to have a star in it. That it could go as it stands. Because we really want. I mean, we don't want to sell it and then have somebody else remake it. I mean, we really want to do it. So, yeah. So I mean, I think that would be some type of plan. If you've got any ideas, please tell me.
I think that's why we're here to generate ideas,
Yeah.
right? So,
Right,
yeah, I
right,
mean,
yeah. That'd be great.
thank you so much,
Thank
David.
you.
And,
Thank you.
we're going to take a 15-minute break. We're going to come back with the final session.